Hello, people, and welcome to another Pokemon Battle Strategy Breakdown. Today we're going to be covering Charizard. This one's going to be a little bit longer due to the fact that he has two Mega Evolutions, which means there's a lot more depth to breaking down all the potential for Charizard's strategy. So without further ado, let's hop right in. Taking a look first at normal Charizard, he's got middling stats for a sweeper. They're not amazing, but they're not actually that bad. With 100 base speed, that's pretty good. 109 special attack, that's moderate. And he's got okay bulk in terms of, like a not super amazingly strong neutral hit isn't gonna one-hit KO him. But, and looking at his type, he's a fire flying type, as we all know, which leaves him with that infamous 4 times weakness to rock, as well as a 2 times weakness to water, and a 2 times weakness to electric. However, this does, as a flying and fire type, remove one of these fire type weaknesses, being ground, now being a complete immunity. So, that's the breakdown for normal Charizard. But if we take a look at his Mega Evolutions, Mega Charizard Y becomes a crazy special attacker, gaining the ability Drought, and now has better special defense, better attack, and most importantly, amazingly good special attack. This combined with the Drought means he'll be a devastating special sweeper, and since his type stays the same, so that means his weaknesses and resistances also stay the same. But since he has Drought, when he's in Sun, you might as well cancel out that water weakness, because that is basically cancelled out because of the Sun. And then Mega Charizard X does quite the polar opposite, becoming more of a mixed sweeper. And I'm sorry in advance, because the whole weakness chart couldn't fit onto the image, so I had to just sort of make it like this. So Mega Charizard X, quite differently, finally received the blessing of the dragon typing, making him now a fire dragon type. This leaves him with 3 weaknesses, those being ground, rock, and dragon, and 5 resistances, those being bug, steel, fire, ear, and grass, which are both quarter resistances, and electric is also now resisted. This also, fire and dragon sort of cover for each other's weaknesses, so that it takes away the fire weakness to water, and fire takes away the dragon weakness to ice and fairy, quite interestingly. So, like I said before, he's kind of a mixed sweeper, but because of his ability Tough Claws, he's more physically biased. 130 attack is really good, and with all forms it stays at 100 base speed. But Mega Charizard X has also got 130 base special attack, so if you want, you could just be a no setup mixed sweeper if that's really your taste. He's also got some good physical defense, so there is some potential to work in a bit of tanky strategy if that's your way to play. And as we hop over to Pokemon Showdown, we're going to see that with normal Charizard at least, there are going to be like a few ways to run it, most of which revolving around a choice item, and then nature and its hidden ability. So the first set here is a choice spec set, which its hidden ability is solar power, which basically like you get a life orb in Sun. So actually, when you run the damage calcs, a choice specs Charizard with solar power active does a lot more damage than Mega Charizard Y actually does. So that's a little bit of interesting stuff to note, because it's like having a life orb and choice specs at the same time. So with this first set, we're going to be having Flamethrower, Air Slash, Focus Blast, and Solar Beam, because we're going to be in the Sun. And with any of these 3 normal Charizard sets, most of the time I put Focus Blast just because I like the coverage it gives, but you can replace that with Dragon Pulse if you want to hit dragons, or you just want a more reliable move than Focus Blast. So then we see sort of the same thing but in reverse with this next set being a Choice Scarf set. You just go Choice Scarf, but instead of Timid you go Modest. And if you want to run this in doubles, since weather teams are easier to do in doubles, you can just replace Flamethrower with Heat Wave on any of these sets. Then the last set is just, it's an interesting set. So you're going to be using Focus Ash, and basically you're going to want to find a way to boost your speed, and then you get the Choice Scarf, but you don't get to have your hidden ability because you want to have Focus Ash since you're frail. So one way you can boost your speed is Dragon's Dance. I mean, the attack boost will be going to waste, but it is good if you don't want to potentially be walled out by Heat Rend if you're going to be using Flame Charge, which the only reason that I would really say Flame Charge over Dragon's Dance is because you can do a bit of chip damage while you're boosting your speed, and then it saves you a bit of time when you're breeding, because then you don't have to go through the extra time to get Dragon's Dance, even though it's just a special set. So next up we're going to be taking a look at Mega Charizard Y, which this first set is just, it's the way I like to use it in doubles. Since you only have 100 base speed, I like to go Timid, get as many outspeed as possible, since you're kind of frail. I mean, you've got good special defense, but with a physical-oriented metagame, that poor defense is going to leave you open to taking big damage from physical attacks. Especially that 4 times weakness to Rock. So we're going to be running Protect, because, I mean, you're always running Protect in doubles. Why would you not be running Protect in doubles? What is wrong with it? Blah! Then Heat Wave, because you want to hit both opponents, it'll be a lot of power. Solar Beam, for sure Solar Beam, all good. And Air Slash for Stab. Or if you want to, you can replace this with Dragon Pulse or Focus Blast. Depending on what you want, I just like having a Stab Air Slash. And then this next set is kind of interesting. So it's a Tailwind support set for doubles. Again, most of the sets for Charizard Y are doubles oriented, since that Sun is really helpful to support other Pokemon in doubles. So with this, you're going to be running Modest special attack and hit points, so that you have the bulk to set off your Tailwind. Then you can go for Heat Wave, Solar Beam, and then you have a choice with your last move. Roost could sort of play off of your tankiness and allow you to heal, or if you just want to be dedicated because it's doubles, just go Protect. Protect is always a great option for doubles in case you fear double targeting or a big move that could hurt you. Then this last set is just sort of the generic 4-move singles oriented sort of set. I'm pretty sure Fire Blast gets boosted accuracy in Sun. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong on that. So let me know whether or not that's true in the comment section below. And now we're going to take a look at some sets for Mega Charizard X, which this first one is just sort of a standard Dragon's Dance set. I prefer to go Adamant because then you get more attack. Because after just one Dragon's Dance, with 100 base speed full invested on a neutral nature, you'll be able to outspeed up to, like, I believe 145 base speed Pokemon, which is pretty good. That's more than most of the metagame. And when I say outspeed 145, I mean like a Timid or Jolly 145 speed Pokemon. So, you know, with this, you're going to be running Dragon's Dance, Dragon Claw, Flare Blitz, which is amazingly powerful after a +1 with the Tough Claws and Stab boost. It's just amazing. Then Earthquake, it provides really good coverage. Then the next set here is a Belly Drum set, which is simply put, devastating. So you're going to be running a lot of hit point bulk so that you can survive a hit and get your Belly Drum off, you know, at least survive a moderately weak hit. Get a bunch of attack. Then you go Jolly with 64 speed, because that means after one Flame Charge, you're going to be able to speed up to base 135 speed Pokemon. And then, you know, you can just Flame Charge freely as you want to go for damage, because Belly Drum with Tough Claws is, like I said before, it's devastating when you get that much attack and you're getting more speed. It's amazing. Then there's the Will-O-Wisp bulky support. So with its physical defense and the fact that every fire type gets access to Will-O-Wisp, we can make use of this by going careful and just investing all into special defense. And then we can just, Will-O-Wisp and then go for damage and Roost, and we can be a pretty effective tank by this. Or if you want to, if you don't really care about tanking special attacks too terribly much, or you just want to be a more like a bulky offensive, you can just go Adamant, hit points attack. That also works really well too. Then this last set I've got here is a bulky Dragon's Dance Roost set. Why do I have Flare Blitz here? I mean, with this set you can run Flare Blitz, but I prefer Fire Punch because I don't want to be taking the recoil damage. This is a tanky Dragon's Dance set. The idea being you Dragon's Dance like twice, and then you go for a sweep. So you Dragon's Dance, then you Dragon's Dance, then you Roost. Then you just go for huge damage with your Stab, Dragon Claw, and Fire Punch. I prefer Fire Punch over Flare Blitz with this set, so that we're not worrying about extra damage. But if you're willing to take the risk, then by all means go ahead. And then this last one, this isn't a move set, but it's just to show extra moves. You guys like it had Swords Dance. You can, if you want to work that into a move set somehow, but you can. But you get more benefit from Bell and Drum or Dragon's Dance. It gets Crunch as an egg move. That's really good for Dark type coverage if you need it. Outrage if you want a more powerful Dragon type move, and which is just really powerful. Rock Slide, which is great for coverage. And Thunder Punch, well, it's not as useful, but it can be really useful, mainly against Azumarill, because Azumarill resists Fire type stab and is immune to your Dragon type stab. So even a neutral Earthquake, it could still go for big damage, or maybe even with its natural bulk set up and then KO you. So this could be a nice little trick to get rid of Azumarills that are trying to set up, or they don't do enough damage because maybe you're like running a tanky set and instead you're like Fire Punch, Thunder Punch. That can work out really well. Mostly, I mean, you can run Thunder Punch on any of the Mega Charizard X sets if you really want to, because then you can hit Water types for super effective damage with Tough Claws boost. But mostly, the only reason I would think to run Thunder Punch would be to KO Azumarills that might be threatening your team. So, that is all for Charizard, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!